Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is health, specifically asthma. And I'm very well qualified on the subject of asthma because I had asthma until I was 28 years old. Jamie, my wife, had asthma all of her life as well. And the key word I'm using here is had. I had asthma. All right, so statepoint.com, statepoint.com is, or statepoint.net is a service that newspapers use to get content and get articles, and you can contribute to StatePoint. And I'm sure, I don't know how this stuff is vetted at all, but there's tons of free content or content there for newspapers. So the local newspaper, along with a lot of other papers across the country, pulled this current article, Back to School. Back to School checklist for families with asthma. Okay, posted September 5th by statepoint.net. For more than 6 million children living with asthma nationwide, gearing up for another school year involves much more than picking out new pencil case and backpack. Asthma is the third leading cause of hospitalization among children in the U.S. under the age of 15, and one of the main reasons that students miss school due to illness, with more than 10,000 million lost school days each year. And I got to tell you, that was me when I was a kid. Hospitalized every other year, pneumonia, other things, asthma, couldn't breathe. So I was a disaster as a kid growing up. I'm trying to get the rest of this article here, and my browser is not scrolling down. Oh, it's frozen. Oh no. All right, I'm back. Had to give a little reboot to the computer. And where was I? So 10 million lost school days a year. That was me. That was me as a kid. Hospital every other year, pneumonia, all kinds of health problems as a kid. So here are their tips. Number 1, schedule a checkup with your child's physician. Check the effectiveness of asthma medication and dosage, and get prescriptions for backup medications for your school nurse coaches, after school programs, and individuals helping out with your child's care. It's exactly what I did as a kid, my parents. Assess your child's readiness for self-carry medication. All 50 states have laws that allow children to self-carry and use their asthma inhalers at school. I never left home without an asthma spray in my pocket. You either, right, Jamie?
Never.
Till I was 28 years old, I walked out of my house with an asthma inhaler in my pocket.
And if you didn't have it, you'd freak out.
I freaked out. I would just merely have an attack by not having that in my pocket.
So
Distress.
Yeah.
So, all right. Set up an appointment with a school nurse. Remember to bring your updated asthma action plan and backup medications. Take this time to sign all required medical forms, yada, yada, yada. This is exactly what my parents did. Talked to the school nurse every year, had medication there, had medication in my pocket. Number 4, talk to your classroom teacher. Take a moment to talk to your child's teacher about his or her asthma. What triggers might bring on an attack, and what to do in an emergency. Same thing my parents did. This is everything my parents did is right here in this article. Funny thing is, my mom actually called me and said, "You've got to read this article on asthma. You really do." She said, "There's no cure for asthma. Just go ahead and read the article and see what you think." Introduce yourself to the PE teacher, the gym teacher, and any coaches. Kids with asthma shouldn't have to miss out on playing outside or participating in gym class. You can quickly put minds at ease by talking about exercise-induced asthma, ways to manage symptoms. So yeah, my parents spoke to the gym teacher as well. There were a lot of days I couldn't even play gym. How about you, Jamie?
I did not put in much effort at school for gym because I couldn't. I felt that I couldn't partake, right?
Right.
Because I was afraid that I'd have an asthma attack and then I wouldn't be able to breathe, and then who knew what was going to happen after that? I didn't
really play any sports.
I played no sports.
I didn't really play any sports at all.
I did cheerleading, and I remember many, many days of cheerleading that I'd have to sit on the sidelines and I couldn't cheer because I was having an asthma attack.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really hampered my childhood school experience. 100% hampered it. Educational-wise, sociability, athleticism, health-wise, this was a major, major downer for me. And I missed a lot of school. So Asthma 101, it's a little pop-up on the website here. And this is from the American Lung Association, lung.org. Asthma is a chronic, lifelong disease that can be serious, even life-threatening. There is no cure for asthma. The good news is that with proper management, you and your loved ones with asthma can live a normal, healthy lifestyle. The more you can learn about asthma, the better you and your loved ones can manage living with this disease, making the most of every day and maintaining a high quality of life. What is asthma? Asthma is a chronic disease that makes it harder to move air in and out of your lungs. It can start at any age in your life. How asthma affects your body. With asthma, swollen airways become extra sensitive to some things that you are exposed to in the environment every day or asthma triggers. When you breathe in or trigger the airways, create extra mucus and even swelling more, making it hard to breathe. So if you have asthma, if you don't have asthma, take a breath. And now try to take another breath on top of that. That's basically what an asthma attack feels like, and it sucks. So I went through my whole childhood until I was 28 years old thinking that there was no cure for this, thinking that this was a lifelong affliction, that this was what I was going to be like for the rest of my life. And at 28, I was well overweight, a lot of medications, lots of asthma medications, but other medications as well. And I said, there's got to be a better answer. And when I started realizing that, hey, when I first started eating healthy at 28 years old, I saw Gary Null on PBS. I have many of his books here, a lot of his books. In fact, Power Aging, those are my recipes in that book. He has several books out that I have recipes in. So Power Aging, those are my recipes. But I started following Gary Null in 1999, 1998, and I said, wow, this guy makes sense. So I never went into this saying I'm going to cure my asthma. I went into this saying I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to live a healthier lifestyle. I'm going to cut out toxic foods. I'm going to create new mind patterns. And before I knew it, my asthma was going away. It was just disappearing and going and gone. I think within 30 to 90 days of following a healthy lifestyle, all of my medications were gone, like all 5 or 6 medications, totally gone, extinct, done. I was curing everything that was wrong with my body. And here are my tips for asthma. What I did personally that reversed, took away, cured my asthma, whatever you want to say. This is how I do not have asthma today. This was a good read. The Canary and the Chronic. Dr. Majad Ali. I'm not sure if it's in this book or any one of his other books, but he talks about asthma. And one of the most important things in dealing with asthma is bowel cleansing. Bowel cleansing, which means in the form of either some kind of herbal mixture, some kind of fiber mixture, and or preferably all comboed with colonics. Extremely important to keep the bacteria at a healthy level, the good bacteria at a healthy level, taking probiotics in your gut is super essential. Your immune system starts in your gut. So when you keep eating sugary foods, white flour, fried foods, drinking Cokes, that's all a detriment to your immune system, and that's where your immune system starts. So, super important. Any doctor that has any kind of basic nutrition knows, and I just read in here that mucus, it can be a cause of this, will tell you, hey, don't eat cheese, get off the dairy, totally get off the dairy. Dairy is a very acid-forming, mucus-producing food, and any doctor with a decent any understanding of nutrition will tell you, hey, you have asthma, get off the dairy, totally get off the cheese. So I got rid of all that, cleansed my bowel, ate healthy, positive mind. Here is the biggest factor for me, and I think this is for you too, Jamie, right? The mere fact of using that inhaler kept me addicted on it. It was addicting. And I had heard this back and forth from certain alternative health practitioners, and I read it, whatever. Every time you are pumping, you're pumping your body to rely upon it again and again and again. And it's a vicious cycle to break that the pharmaceutical company has set you up to fail. So now you have lung.org telling you this is incurable, it's a lifelong affliction, this is a chronic incurable disease condition. And people that are out there are like, okay, I guess I just have to take this spray and these prednisones, whatever pills we were taking. We just have to take this. This is just part of the fact of this is the rest of my life. This is what I'm dealing with. So you can totally make a difference in your asthma by increasing your immune system. Asthma, from what I've read, is an underactive immune system. So thus, I was getting pneumonia, I was getting bronchitis, I was getting all these things that were every other year hospitalizing me in the wintertime. In fact, one year I had pneumonia twice. It relapsed on me. And the chef where I was working was like, "What's wrong with your immune system?" I didn't know anything at the time. I'm like, "Well, I have asthma, you know, and this and that. I've lived my whole life getting sick a lot." So eating better foods, getting rid of the cheese, the mucus, the dairy, getting rid of the asthma spray. Now this can be very tricky. This can be this is how I did it personally. I'm not telling you to go throw away your asthma medication and walk out and get an asthma attack and end up in the hospital. This has to be done through proper management. Coffee, caffeine specifically, dilates your lungs. And if you're having an asthma attack and you don't want to use your spray, try to sip on some coffee first. Take some coffee, inhale it, sip it, get some caffeine in your system. A lot of people that I've told that trick to are like, "Marcus, that works amazing, amazing. That coffee has given me almost instant relief." So for me, I had to work through some asthma attacks. I'm not really a coffee drinker at all. I don't wake up and drink coffee in the morning. That's not my thing. I do enjoy an espresso every now and then, especially if I needed a boost of energy at nighttime if I'm driving or something. A double espresso, a single espresso will keep me wired. But I had to work through, and I think you did too, Jamie, right? We worked through our asthma attacks in a controllable, workable method. And only ever did it get where it was totally unmanageable did you take your spray, right, Jamie? There were sometimes you were like, "I just have to take my spray." And I was like, well, and I had done it several years before you, and I'm like, just you if you have to, you have to. You got to breathe. But if you don't have to, don't take the spray. And all of a sudden, Jamie and I found ourselves taking the spray less and less and less and less. And the asthma attacks got less and less and less. Our diets got better. We were losing weight. We were feeling healthy. We weren't on other meds. We weren't getting sick anymore. And it was just like this whole big. You got to look at the big picture of of everything healthy. It's not taking a silver bullet pill. It's not saying, "Well, I'll just quit dairy and just keep doing whatever else I'm doing." No, you've got to understand true health. And if you go to your doctor's going to tell you, "Well, no, there's no cure for it," because your doctor's trained by the pharmaceutical company. That's how they get their licensing. And the pharmaceutical company is probably the ones who own lung.net or whatever this website is. And these are the ones that are writing this article that are now giving it to statepoint.com, statepoint.net to give out to all the newspapers. So now you have all these newspapers across the country thinking, all these kids reading, all these parents reading, "Well, hey, asthma is incurable," because they have the medication. They're making the money. So this there's no author on this article. It just says statepoint.net. I went to StatePoint. I'd have to log in. I'd have to get credentials to be a newspaper to log in to get their content. So I was unable to get into it and dive into this further. But the whole system is set up so the pharmaceutical companies can make the money. So your doctor is getting a false education, unless he's sitting there educating himself and reading alternative books and following doctors like this. If they're following doctors like Majad Ali, they're learning something. If they're reading all these alternative books, they're learning something. But if they're going and getting educated from the drug reps who walk in the door and taking their board exams and doing continuing education, that's all pharmaceutical BS. Sure, pharmaceutical stuff may work in certain things. Antibiotics, you might need them for something here and there, but my overall feeling on this is it's way too abused. The medical system abuses the profits of the big pharmaceutical companies, and the stuff just is being pushed down our throat. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching this. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel. If you have any other questions about asthma, because I know asthma personally, I will be happy to explain further what I did that helped me and my wife Jamie with our asthma.